Hi, my name is Ron, WA1RF. I'm the trustee for W1WCC at the WCC Amateur Radio Association. So we've been getting a few questions about how do we do our live streaming, what is the lash up to do it, etc. So I thought I'd just do a quick video to show you what we're doing here to give you an idea what the setup is. So first we'll talk about cameras. I'm using my camera of choice is a Panasonic GH5S actually. It's a micro four thirds camera. We got a 12 to 60 millimeter lens on it, so it converts, if you're talking about a 35 millimeter camera, it would convert to about 25 to 120 millimeters. It's a great camera for video and live streaming. Easy to set up, easy to use. HDMI output is what we take. We use the HDMI output that goes to another device, which I'll show you in a minute. And very versatile. It works very well. Numerous lighting conditions here. We have a couple of windows in the shack, and sometimes the sun is pouring in, and sometimes it's not. So the camera is very easy to set up for whatever lighting condition we have. So this is a favorite one. This is a Panasonic GH5S. I think they're still available. The GH6 is the latest, I think, version. The only drawback from this is you cannot record using a solid state drive. It doesn't have the ability to, the file type is the wrong type of file that you can't use to edit. So it has built in, it has two SD devices, two SD slots. So you have to use an SD to record too, if you're going to actually record with the camera itself, and you want the recording to be done by the camera. You have to use the two SD cards, and they get kind of expensive, and so we don't use we don't use the record function on this camera. We're using another device for the recording. But that's the drawback I see, is the HDMI output of this, not the HDMI output, the USB output from this is not meant to be used for recording to a solid state drive. That's the USB output. I said HDMI, it's actually USB output. You cannot record your recording onto a solid state drive with this camera. I think they may have addressed that issue. There was a lot of complaints, and I think they may have addressed that with the latest version, the GH6, but I'm not sure about that. So that's our preferred camera. It works very well. Another one that I use is the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. However, this is a cinematic, really for cinematographers. It's not really meant for live streaming. And I say that because the HDMI output out of this is a raw type of a file, and so what you get is a picture that has almost no color. I mean, it's very mute with color, contrast. It's very washed out. And there's a couple of our videos were done with this. The latest one, I think, was a few days ago. We did with the showing the SS Hope radio console. If you look at that video, you'll see that's kind of a bluish gray hue to it. That's this camera. There is a solution for it. You can get a LUT, use a LUT for the HDMI output, and if you can find an appropriate LUT or create one. I can't be bothered to do all that. This is really meant for recording video and for post-production, a video that's going to go to post-production where you do color correction and all that kind of stuff. So this is it's a high-end camera. More so than what the Panasonic is. Has some great features for if you're going to record video. I highly recommend it. I like it for certain applications. The lens on this one is 12 to 35 millimeter. Again, this is a micro four thirds camera, so that would be roughly 25 to 70 millimeter lens. But one advantage this does have is you can record onto a solid state drive with this. So you can do your video recording onto a solid state drive. It also has SD slots, but you can put in an SD drive. So let me grab one. I'll show you what I mean. Well, it's out of reach. Here it is. Here we are. SD drive. So these are what I use. These are Samsung SD drives, T5 and a T7. One's a 1 terabyte, one's a 2 terabyte. They have a high read-write speed, so they're great for recording video. And this actually fits right into this little holder here. Plugs in, and you can actually record right onto this SD drive if you so desire. And it's usable. You can select what format you want it to be, unlike the Panasonic. So again, that's the Blackmagic Pocket 4K cinematic camera. That's second option for us. So while I'm talking about, well, I mentioned the drive. So this is a Samsung solid state drive, T5 and a T7. We use these for a lot of applications here at the museum, and a lot of space, 1 or 2 terabytes, and high speed. So they're great for doing video and audio. As far as audio goes, speaking of audio, the audio feed we take out of the radio's line output. So most of your modern radios today have a record jack or a line output on the back of the radio, and we simply run off of that, providing a line feed into our device that's doing the recording, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Doing that, you don't have to worry about your volume control. The volume control doesn't affect the line output, so you can set your audio levels and set it and forget it. It's there. That's the way it's going to be, no matter what I do here when I'm listening on my headphones. So we have a couple of radios in here. The one for the SS Hope, this one, and one for Position 1 all have the ability to provide a line audio feed. We have one radio in here that is an old one, dates back to the late 60s, and it does not have a line audio output. We could tap off the audio internally in the rig, but we haven't done that. We've simply taken an audio feed out of the radio that is actually controlled by the operator's volume control. So it's a little more sensitive to setup, and if you watch some of the videos of our operator Harry, you'll find that some of the audio is a little bit overdriving and sounds a little distorted, but it's because we don't have that line level audio feeding the system. And that's just one of the things. We don't do it often enough to worry about getting into the rig and picking audio off somewhere off of a stage. So for our purposes, it works. So if you have an older radio, you're going to run into that issue. You're going to have to do something about line level audio. So that's how we do it. So now I'm going to show you what we use for a recording device and camera interface and audio interface. Okay, so this is how we do our interface. This device here, it's called an ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. It's made by Blackmagic Corporation. It's a video switcher. This particular one has 8 inputs, eight HDMI inputs. Has a couple of microphone inputs, and it has a lot of other capabilities. You can do some video effects with it, and it has some images, files we can load in there for images. Here's an example. There's an image, another image. We'll come back to this. So this is a switch. This is camera number 1. I'm going to go over to camera number 2. There's camera number 2, back to camera number 1. These are both Panasonic. Here's the solid state drive, and it's plugged into the back here. This is called an ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. Now they make these smaller. We use this for other purposes here at the museum. This is also used for our video production. We have guest speakers and we have videos that we produce here. So we need a little more capability than what you would need to do a live stream for ham radio. These are available with 4 inputs, much smaller. They don't have as many options, and it would be just fine for a ham radio. But this is the way we go. Now, you know, there's so many different solutions to do this, what we're trying to do here. I'm not suggesting that this is the way to go. This works for us. We have this equipment, and this is what we use. So there you go. But I can actually do some. Let's see. You can do a picture-in-picture. There's picture-in-picture. So you know, there's all kinds of things you can do here, and you can do a fade to a cut versus a hard cut versus that, and you know, fade to one of these things, fade to that, and fade back. So you can do some things with this, and it makes things easier for us. Now this has the ability to actually connect directly to YouTube. We have an Ethernet, an internet connection to it. That's what this blue cable is here. And this will stream directly to YouTube. You do not need a PC or anything like that. You just set up the addressing that YouTube gives you, and plug this into the internet and turn it on. There's an on-off switch right here, and you're live streaming on YouTube. But we record everything we do here, because when we get done live streaming, we like to edit it down. So that's what we're using. So let me get back to the other camera here, and we'll wrap this up. Okay, so one final thought. When you live stream to YouTube, YouTube records it, and you have the option to go back and edit it using YouTube's editing function. I find that to not be satisfactory. I found it to be awkward to use. I didn't like the results coming out of it. So we're recording on our own solid state drive, and I take that and edit that with video editing software, and we edit out the dead spots. You know, there's no point in you guys listening to us tune around the band looking for a signal or calling CQ over and over and over. So we cut it all down so that all you hear on the final product are actual QSOs. So you may have a 3-hour video that might edit down to an hour and 15, 20 minutes, something like that. As far as editing goes, I use DaVinci Resolve. Actually, I have 2 types of editing software. One is DaVinci Resolve, which is a Blackmagic company semi-professional editing software. Another option, which I also have used once in a while, is the PowerDirector 365. That's a little easier to use, especially if you're not familiar with video editing, or if you're just dabbling with it. It's a good place to start. That's one where it's a subscription based, and so you can pay the monthly fee or annual fee or whatever it is, and if you don't like it, that's it, you're done with it. DaVinci Resolve, if you buy a Blackmagic product, you get the software. If you don't buy the Blackmagic product, then you have to purchase the software. But that's what I use for editing all these videos. So our process is, when we go live, the live stream is there, it's recorded by YouTube, and when we get finished, under the live tab on our YouTube page, the recording is there. So when I get done editing that day's recording, I will delete the live recording off of there and upload the edited version. So then it's streamlined, and you can look up your call sign in the description, click on your call sign, and it takes you right to that, so you don't have to hunt through the video trying to find where your QSO may be. So that's how we do it. I hope that answers some of the questions that have come in asking us how this is done. It's pretty simple, and we enjoy doing it. And we've had a lot of good feedback, so we enjoy you guys watching, and we'll continue on. We're going to have some events coming up. We'll probably get the ship console back on the air. We do that's one more thing. We do, when we put the ship console on the air, we usually do a split screen that shows the operator, and then the radio console uses mercury vapor rectifiers. So we put a camera on the rectifiers so you can see the blue flashing of the rectifiers, and then you see the operator functioning. So that's where the split screen capability of this ATEM Mini comes in. Very handy thing to have. So fun to play with. We're enjoying it and hope you guys are too. So we'll see you on the air.